the FNL Network talk show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the FNL Network talk show. I'm your host tonight, Marianne Estridge, and we are here tonight with Jeff, Corey, and Diana. How is everybody doing?
I'm well.
Good.
Doing
I'm
good?
doing good.
Everybody
How are you
had a
doing?
good weekend?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we've got several very interesting topics to cover tonight, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. The first one, there's been a cargo ship in Baltimore that hit the bridge and caused it to collapse, including causing deaths. There's been a lot of commotion going on online, on TV, all over about speculations that this was not something that was done accidental, but that it may have been done on purpose. There are several different theories out there. I'm curious to know what all of you think. If you think it was just a simple accident, or if you think that maybe something more sinister took place. Jeff, I'm going to start with you.
I think it was an accident. I just feel like, why would somebody hit the bridge? That's a costly, intentional thing with cargo on the ship. Like, I don't believe that. I believe that it was something that happened accidentally. It's costing them. People are not being able to work. But yeah, my opinion is I don't believe somebody intentionally did that. That just doesn't make any sense. No, I don't believe.
I'm with you, Jeff. I think that it was just an accident. There are a lot of people, especially around where I live, that think it was something more sinister. They're like, no, it was done on purpose. They're trying to hurt our supply chain. And it's been the talk of the town, so to speak. But I agree with you. No disrespect to anyone else's beliefs or what they think, but I personally also think that it was an accident. However, it has definitely, they said it's going to affect the supply chain. And I think the saddest part to me is that people lost their lives. That is absolutely the saddest part. And I told my husband, I said, I can't imagine what that must have been like for the people involved, the ones that did pass away from it. It must have been terrifying. I mean, I can't even imagine. And to see something that big just coming at you.
Collapse.
Yes. So, Corey, what are your thoughts on this?
It was an accident, definitely not a simple accident. It's a pretty big accident. I'm in favor of it being an accident. That's what I believe as well. I'm curious though, I'm going to ask you, particularly because you're around people that you said in your area, what is the motivation that they're claiming? Like, what is behind the sinister side of it? If it was sinister, what is it that they think's going on? If you don't mind sharing that.
So, sure. So the people around where we live, my husband and I live in the South, in North Carolina. Some of the people that I've spoken with, they think that it was done by people to purposely try and hurt the American economy, because it disrupts the supply chain. Some people think it was an act of terrorism. I've heard those two theories mainly, but I personally don't think that that's what it is. I think some people look for things in every bad situation to make it worse, or to make it seem like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. We're all going to die. I mean, it's doomsday. I think there are some people that view things that way. And the people that I've spoken with that believe these things, I think that's how they view it.
Yeah, it's interesting because when we first brought this question up, and you say that it was possibly planned, the first thing that came to me wasn't even terrorism. I'm like, what do you mean? Like the government planned it again? Like, and so that was like way far from my mind to think that as a possibility. And I don't know why. It's kind of strange that was my first thought. Now it used to be almost always like, hey, is this an act of terror? Now is wondering, are they all saying it was the government? Are they claiming the government's trying to do this to us? There's a lot of that going on too. I think if it's an act of terrorism, there's a lot more signatures there, if you will, right? There's going to be a lot more left behind, a lot more, and people would have made that claim at this point. So
Yeah.
even if it wasn't them, if it's clear enough that it was some sort of, purposeful act, those signs would be there, and all kinds of different groups would then try to get recognition for it and take claim for it long before we got all the details and all the dust settled.
Mhm.
And it doesn't look like from what I've read and seen, I haven't seen anything that sounds like they feel like it was even a purposeful act.
Right.
So I'm just curious. So that's why I'm asking you, because it's interesting to me that people are still finding, they're finding that. Like, so I didn't know if there was something else going on that they're seeing that I'm not, because, I haven't
I
seen
think,
anything at all that
yeah.
makes me think otherwise. But
I think a lot of it is speculation on a lot of people's part. I've had friends reach out to me recently and they're like, you better be careful because, things are about to get really bad. The cargo ship's just the start of it. And I don't know. I choose not to live my life in fear. I want to enjoy it. Life is short. I'm
right,
going to enjoy it. And it really honestly, it just seems like it was just a bad day and some bad luck. I mean, it sucks.
right,
Absolutely. And like I said, at the end of the day, the worst part is that people lost their lives. You can't put a price
right,
or a value on somebody's life. But I don't
exactly.
believe the theories that are going around saying, oh, this was planned or they're trying to hurt us.
But they know, right? When those cargo
Right,
ships are coming in, import and outport, they know specifically what's coming in. So
Mhm.
they would have known once it happened if it was someone that it was a
right,
terrorist or someone coming import to sabotage the bridge. They would have known
Right.
right
all
offhand.
kinds of signs. Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Doesn't make sense that it would be anything other than an accident.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Well, like I said, now, I mean, it reaches a point sometimes where all of our speculation and Hollywood speculation can end up giving these guys ideas that maybe they wouldn't have even. They're like, oh, run a
yeah.
cargo ship, a new bridge, disrupt the supply chain. Why didn't we think of that before?
Yep. Absolutely. Diana, what are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
I'm gonna choose not to believe that it was planned because I have too much anxiety to even think of that. When I first saw that story, I was like, great, bridges, don't want to ever go on those. Glad I don't live on Staten Island anymore where you needed to take a bridge like all the time.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, it's just terrifying. And like the fact that people want to feed into that, first of all, people are texting you like, oh, this is just the start of it. Like, are you driving a cargo ship anytime soon? Like, why are people texting you this? It's like so
Yeah.
bizarre. I don't understand it. No, I have too much anxiety to think anything other than this was an accident. I am too much of an empath to think anything else. I don't understand how anyone would purposely hurt someone else, and I don't understand why people would want to put that out there. That's so insensitive to the people whose lives were lost. I get some people like conspiracy theories and I get that they can be interesting, but there's a time and place for them, and I just
Right.
think this is just
Not.
insensitive and like people need to cool it.
Yeah.
No,
It's not
I
right.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree. That's what's hard living here sometimes.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Because I've told my husband before, I was like, I really don't fit in here. Like it's so different. Like, but it's almost frustrating when you get people texting you saying, oh my gosh, did you hear about it? Well, yeah, I did, but I think it's just a tragedy. It's something, and
Right.
like you said, Diana, I'm not going to be driving a cargo ship. Trust me, y'all don't want me to drive a cargo ship. You barely want me to drive my Acura. I'm just saying. Like, I can't drive that good anyway. But yeah, people are just, they're paranoid, and I don't want to live in that fear. Life is so precious and just too short.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It is unfortunate because like there's a lot going on in the world, and sometimes it's unfortunate when those things are happening. But it makes us sit back and think like we could be here today and tomorrow, not even tomorrow, within minutes, your life could be gone. And I think it's just time for us to take life, enjoy a little bit more and not less of the negative, because those people didn't anticipate them waking up that morning or being on a cargo ship and then riding across the bridge for the bridge to collapse or
Mhm.
innocent people in the cargo die. Like that's not what they woke up to expect. They woke up to go to work
No.
wherever they were going and just be in that place they were going, and they're no longer here. And lives are gone and families are devastated. So you really have to take life, you know, as it is in a good spirit and wake up each morning just thankful, being very thankful because you just never know.
And
It's
hope
so
hope too
unfortunate.
that we learn from this also, right? I mean, like I don't know when the bridge was built. I don't know if ships got bigger since it's been built. I don't I like I'm that's the part I'm gonna look into more is when the dust settles, I'm more curious about how this happened, how did this occur, and always moving forward, they're going to find some way to adjust and try to avoid these kinds of issues, right? And then again, some accident's going to come along eventually and do something else, and we're going to be like, man, we got to not do that anymore, and we'll know better afterwards. And that's one of the only hopes that can come out of a situation like this is that
Yeah,
we learn something from it, can
yeah,
avoid it.
most definitely.
Absolutely. I think that's huge too, is what can be changed moving forward to make things better, to make things safer.
Right.
And adding to that, I am a little bit nervous about driving on bridges now. And it
Oh
just,
yeah,
I just
I'm
don't
nervous
want
about
to
that anyway.
collapse.
Isn't everybody always nervous going on bridges anyways? Like
I've
everybody's always
always
thinking
been
of worst
really
I
case
am.
nervous.
scenarios going across
No,
the
I
bridge,
guess
right?
because when you live on, like I said, I grew up on Staten Island. So, like, if you wanted to get off the island, you wanted to go into Jersey, Brooklyn, Manhattan, you had to either do a tunnel or a bridge. So it was like nothing for me. But now after this, I'm like, oh my God, that's wild.
Well, maybe that's one of the downfalls of or pitfalls of being a writer, right? I look at any situation and I'm seeing all kinds of hope. Don't get me wrong, but I also see all of the worst things that could possibly go wrong. And so driving across
Yeah.
the bridge, like it's always in my mind, man. Just going across, going, I wonder if that happened or what if that happened, and so it's always something I'm wary of. And we got some bridges down here that collapsed during that earthquake in the '90s, and that they
Mm.
had to rebuild. I'm hoping that we learned from those. I'm hoping these are better bridges. They're supposed to be.
Yeah,
Yeah, you might get used to it, like you were saying, but I still think it's somewhere always in the back of our minds whenever we're doing anything that's a little bit different like that. We're thinking the possible dangers, right? At least I do. Like
Yeah.
that may be a pitfall of being a writer. I don't know. I think of all the worst case scenarios too. So
yeah. I think about going into tunnels, and sometimes I go through the Hampton Tunnel, and that little water drop that hits my window, like, let me get up out of here because it's a crack.
right.
I can see you
You just
doing
Well, you
think
that,
know
about
how
Jeff.
those things.
Like,
Yeah, I be trying to get out
you
of
know
that
how you
Hampton
solve
Tunnel
that one,
quick.
right? You know how to solve the tunnel one. When you go through the tunnels, you do what we do, man. You got to scream all the way through. That's what we do at every tunnel here. Either scream or
oh,
honk, depends on who's
I've
around.
done
But
that before.
me and the kids and my wife will scream the whole way through every time, every
Oh,
tunnel,
be
every
glad
time.
you don't have to go through the Lincoln Tunnel. That would just be a very long time of screaming.
I have to take a couple of breaths on that one, right?
Oh
Well,
my
I'm going to move
God.
on, guys, to the next
Yeah.
topic here. Controversial topic number 2. There have been, I'm sure everyone has seen in the news, P. Diddy and the allegations of sexual misconduct, including him having one of his drug mules arrested. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on this. This is Pandora's box. His homes in LA and Miami were raided, and recently he came back to social media, but made it so that nobody can comment. I'm curious to know what you guys' thoughts are. Do you think he is guilty? Do you think it's hype? Corey, what are your thoughts?
I'm always hesitant in the beginning, just like anything, even with the bridge. Wait till the dust settles
Yeah.
before weighing in too heavily.
Mm-hmm.
Give people that opportunity, because I think we spoke about it. I don't know if it was last week or the week before with celebrities when we were talking about the royals. And we're prying into their lives and whatnot. But from stories I've heard, things I have seen in the past, it wouldn't shock me And from things that occur in Hollywood, and they're finally coming to light in Hollywood. It wouldn't shock
Mhm.
me, wouldn't surprise me, but I don't follow his career or the man enough to give an honest, like, oh, I for sure this guy, like, I try not to do that and stuff. Um, as long as I can until it becomes painfully obvious. There's things in the past where there were people that I was a big fan of. Like, I absolutely loved Cosby. I mean, we wore out the tape
Yeah.
Yeah,
and watch it.
Yeah.
My whole
I can
family would
support.
listen to that tape over and over. So at first
Yeah.
there's that, that instance of like, I don't want to believe it. And then it's
Yeah.
like, but we got to listen. And then learning that it was real was just, just stole a hero from us. I mean, really wasn't a hero in the first place, but at least in my eyes, we thought of him that way. And he did some good and amazing things for people, and it just sucks that there was this other side to it. And so P. Diddy's helped
Mhm.
a lot of people's careers. He's helped out a lot of people. I know that he does things of that nature too, but if something like this is real, then yeah, I mean, fry them. I mean, I can't, if
Yeah.
they're actually doing that, I've got nothing for you. I really don't. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. And Corey, I understand what you're saying about Bill Cosby. It's so hard, the cognitive dissonance that takes place when you don't know. It's like, I'm used to seeing this person as good, and then you're trying
Right.
to accept in your
America's
mind that
dad.
something,
Yeah.
yeah, that it's something completely opposite. And I'm like you. I don't know much about P. Diddy or his career. I've not really followed it. I did see all this in the news, but I'm in your corner when you say if he did something like that, fry him. Absolutely. I mean, I don't think anybody should be let off the hook if they're involved in stuff like that. And again, like you said, there have been things in Hollywood coming to light, such as you guys talked about this on a recent show, The Quiet on Set.
Mhm.
Not to bring all of that up again, but my husband and I are watching that currently as well. And it's mind blowing. The things that happen behind closed doors, especially when somebody thinks that they have enough money, power, fame, that the rules don't apply. Some people have those thoughts. It's like they think, well, I'm above this. I'm such and such. I'm above the law. I'm above morals and standards. Some people have that mindset. So it's very unfortunate and very sad.
Yeah.
Diana, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, this situation, it's hard because, whenever you think of the legal system, it's like innocent until proven guilty. However, when there are victims involved that are making allegations, I'm of the mindset that we should listen to and believe victims. I get when it's hard for people, like I empathize when you brought up Cosby, like that's someone, yes, you said there's like the dissonance, like, okay, we're taught to believe this person is good. We admire them. So I get when people are hesitant on that end to be like, I can't believe that someone I love for so many years is capable of doing something like this. And there's a bit of a mourning process involved. What I don't support is when people say, like, oh, right away, victims are just making this up for fame. Like, there are 800,000 other ways you can get famous, especially in the age where we all hold little cameras in our hands. These are little, like, TVs. Like we can get famous in so many other ways. I don't think they're going to go through lengths to make up like horrible abuse allegations and waste everyone's time and money and their money on lawyers for the court systems as well. So, it's hard for me to say whether or not he did something like this for sure. However, I am listening to the victims and I'm siding with them until proven otherwise.
I haven't seen the victims. I
Well, I
haven't seen
think that's,
anything from the
yeah.
victims. So,
Yeah.
I haven't seen enough of it to know what they're saying.
Right.
Diana, I agree with you that I don't think people would make up sexual abuse allegations or any allegations of any type of abuse. And there's a statement that came out years ago, and it was just believe them. If somebody tells you they've been through something like this, believe them. And because most of the time I found that it's very difficult for people to actually admit what happened because there is such an element of shame. somebody has hurt you in that way. It's very difficult to come forward. You know, like you said, there are so many other ways to get famous. Why would they want to bring attention to themselves in that way when they could choose a multitude of other ways to do it? I think it's brave for people to come forward because, especially when you're dealing with a celebrity, you know, they're going to face scrutiny. They're going to face people not agreeing with them. And it's going to be hard. The anxiety, the sleepless nights, the depression, possible suicidal thoughts. I mean, all of these things can come from coming forward and saying, this person hurt me, but they're choosing to do it anyway. So I applaud their bravery and their courage to do that. So I agree with you. What about you, Jeff? What are your thoughts?
It's kind of crazy because I grew up with P. Diddy and his music. And the thing, you know, when I was in college, the thing that draws attention is he was in some allegations back in the days when Tupac and all that stuff was going down with the feud, and Tupac got killed, and Biggie Smalls is like, it's always been something that he's kind of been caught up in. So like they said, he's proven innocent. He's not guilty. He's innocent until proven guilty. And in my mind, I just think, is he really doing this thing? Because a lot of times, just like you said at the beginning, they think because they have so much power and wealth, they're in control, but they're really not in control. And they're learning that these things, once they come forth, is when they want to go flee and run. They're good as long as nobody sees it. But once it's being exposed, then you're not coming forth to clear your name. You're kind of in the, you know, hitting somewhere, or you're going to another, because I think they say he went to Miami or something,
Or the
you know, when
Bahamas.
everything went down. Huh?
I thought it was the Bahamas.
Yeah, he
Oh
went
my
somewhere. I
God.
know he fled. And he left
Yeah,
his
he
sons
couldn't
there.
be
His
brought
son,
back
his son
from.
got arrested. You know, so I'm in my mind, I'm just like, why are you leaving your kids there to, you know, take the wrath of what's going on in your estate? Like, I just
Yeah.
don't understand that. You should have just stood there. It's like, I'm not doing anything. Why am I running, or why am I running from this situation? And clear your name. Or maybe he's just let everything go the way. You just never know. It could be him using that as his name being put out there even more, and then he comes when they do the court things and he clear innocent. You just never know, the way the media uses things so much, you know, as a marketing strategy. It's just hard to see who's telling the truth and who's not anymore. It's just crazy. So you have to sit back and wait till everything kind of unfolds before you actually make a legit decision by what you find out with the evidence. So that's where I'm at. But he's been in stuff before. Like, this is not like something, you know, he was Bad Boy Records. You know, that was, you know, back in the days before he hit big, was drugs and all that other stuff was involved. So you just never know. You just never know.
Yeah,
He
you
hasn't, to
really
me,
don't.
hasn't did anything lately as far as, you know, bringing out new artists or anything. So, you know, when you have a whole bunch of time on your hands, you think of creative ways to do other things, you know? So I don't know. That's just not where I'm at. I'm just
Yeah.
seeing how everything kind of gonna unfold.
Yeah. That's you don't know the whole truth. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors, but we can only speculate.
Yeah.
But I will say I do agree with Diana that if somebody comes forward, I'm going to believe them.
Yeah.
Because I think it's really difficult to admit when. I'm going to bring up a more positive topic, more lighthearted topic. Yesterday, we celebrated all around the U.S. and parts of the world Easter. So I'm curious to know, if you celebrate Easter, what it means to you and why, or if there's anything else that you like to celebrate in the springtime of the year. Diana, how about you?
So I am not as religious as I once was. I like to joke I'm a recovering Catholic. That's a different story for a different day. I'm definitely more spiritual now, but when it comes to the holidays, I do recognize their meaning. Easter's a little bit different for me now because at least for Christmas, I go home with my family and we have like our Italian traditions. So that's like a bigger deal. And I know when I was home, like Palm Sunday was a big deal. But for me out
Mhm.
here, I went out to dinner with my little cousin last night. Little, she's 24. She'll be 24. She's my little cousin. I went out to dinner with her last night just because, we're out here without our parents. So it was nice just to have like some form of family and go and share a meal with and catch up and not feel alone on the holiday. But I know for many people, Easter's, important. It's the resurrection and all that. So I do understand the significance for other people as well as enjoying the traditions of it. I think once I have my family, my own family,
Mhm.
I'm going to do the eggs and stuff like that. I think it's really cute to see all the kids getting involved and like taking them to see the bunny and stuff. I actually last night was bored and I Googled like what's the significance of the Easter bunny, like why bunny? And I'm like, apparently it just dates all the way back to
Yeah.
Germany. So like the too long didn't read of it all. It's like it's interesting to find out the cultural significance and where it meets the religious significance and like how we can tie that all together, even if you don't necessarily believe in that, or not, maybe not believe, but like you're not an active participant in that religion anymore, you can still participate in some way and admire like the holiday behind it.
Yeah, I like that. I think the family together as for different holidays is. Jeff, what about you? What are your thoughts?
Well, I celebrated the resurrection of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior.
Yeah.
That is everything to me. God is so amazing in my life when it comes to my relationship with Him. But I did not, I did not go to church. I actually was on the road heading to Elon to see my family, and it was a wonderful, wonderful Easter. Me being here, being with my family. My family is my center. And when they left 3 years ago, my world seemed like it was dropped. But I've grown, and to see them grown into, where they are, my sister, her, my niece and nephew, and my mom, and being able to come here and being around them was my resurrection. It was amazing. We just sit back and just laughed and enjoyed each other. So that's what I did this Easter. It was truly a blessing being here, and I'm still here right now, being with my family at Elon. So yeah, that was my Easter.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. And I'm with you, Jeff. I do celebrate the resurrection of Jesus, just like you. No judgment toward anyone that doesn't. We were planning on going to church. We didn't. My husband wasn't feeling well, so we stayed home and we just relaxed and later in the day enjoyed some family time. And I think family time is priceless. That is probably one of my favorite parts of any holiday is spending time with family. When I was a kid, yeah, it was all about the Easter bunny and all about the Easter basket. And I don't know if any of you had parents that would like hide your basket, but mine would hide my basket and I would have to find it. And probably not the best topic but for Easter, but I'll go ahead and say it because it is a little funny, but I said one of my first bad words on an Easter one day because I heard it from my brother. I couldn't find my basket and I heard him using this word. So I said it and my dad was like, what did you say? I learned that day that word was not good. But story, I found my basket, the Easter basket when I was a kid. That was my favorite part. Obviously, I don't get them anymore. But maybe I can make my own for myself. But that was my favorite part growing up as a kid. Corey, how about you?
Yeah, we had a great time. You guys hearing me all right? I was having kind of a little bit of choppiness
Yeah.
with the internet.
Yeah, you're there.
Yeah. No, we had a great time yesterday. My wife and I, we still have the young kids, so we give each other baskets also. So, you don't have to miss
that's so
that. We give each other
sweet.
Santa gifts too, right? You might as well get something for Santa. So, yeah, we still enjoy all that. It's a lot of fun for us. But yeah, we did. My nephew stayed up like all night doing a brisket. We had some ham. We are Catholic, so it is a big day for us as well. We do the whole Lent thing. We're not eating meat on Friday. we're enjoying them what are they called? The fish ones at McDonald's, right? We're eating those sandwiches as often as we can during this month.
Filet of fish.
But yeah, we come to Easter. Fillet of fish. That's it. Fillet of fish. Yes, lots of those fillet of fish, right? So but yeah, we we did like our own poke bowls the other day or whatever. And so we do. Lent is a big deal to us. We give up something and we kind of try to do something for Lent as well as give something up. So all the kids kind of chose something to give up. And so Easter's that day where they're finally like my daughter and my other son gave up chocolate. So yesterday they finally got to have some chocolate. So they were pretty ecstatic about that. So
That's a tough one.
so yeah, it's a big day for us. We really enjoy it, and we got a lot of our own little traditions, and it's fun. So my wife did really good with this because she wanted the older kids to get involved in the Easter egg hunt too, because they get to an age and it's not as much fun. So she bought a bunch of really cool stuff, and then we got like some PlayStation gift cards and Starbucks. Some had the other parents pitch in, and we got some really cool cards and different things. And so that what she did is she took like raffle tickets and stuffed them into the eggs. And then we put them in like, much more difficult places to find for the older teens to find. And then they were able to come in and trade X amount of tickets for whatever they wanted to purchase from the energy drinks and all the different things. And so she did an awesome job of that. She found a way to get kind of everybody involved. And so then, all of us older dads had to go out and try to hide it from teens. And that was a little bit more difficult to task, which was a lot of fun though. So we found some pretty interesting places to try to hide them.
That sounds
So
like
yeah, we had a blast. Yeah, we did. It was a good time.
Corey, you mentioned being Catholic. I grew up, my mom was Southern Baptist and my dad was Catholic, and how they stayed married as long as they did, I don't know. Because those are like polar opposites. And I'm like hanging out here in the middle, more spiritual like you, Diana, but I still, I consider myself a Christian, but I'm not Catholic, I'm not Baptist. But my dad would have us give up things for Lent. Like, I will never forget it. And we did the fish nights and the no meat, and it was interesting. I wish I could remember what I used to give up for Lent, but chocolate would be really difficult because I have that every day.
One year. This was like my first Lent, and I'm like straight A, like golden student. So like when we had to take CCD, which is like the religion classes, and they're telling us all about Lent, and I was
did that too.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna give up my favorite show, all of that, which is ironic because we talked about Quiet on Set last week. But anyway, biggest mistake. I was miserable for the whole 40 days, and I was like, I'm never giving up anything for Lent again. So it like completely backfired on me.
Yeah, that's tough. I forgot it was 40 days long. Wow.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't, Corey. Kudos to your kids. I can't give up chocolate at all.
Yeah.
I have it every day.
Yeah, they do good.
Every day.
They did a good job. I was surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, there were a few times here and there where we were doing something. We're like, dude, go for it, because it's tradition. That's all it is. It's just like I tell people that all the time about like Christmas trees. We all understand that the Christmas tree highlights the season. It enhances the room. It has nothing to do with the salvation of your soul or anything else. It's just, it's just a nice thing to observe for the season and enjoy. And if it's making you miserable, you're doing. It's not in the spirit of the season. It's not in the spirit of the tradition, right?
Like first grade day, and I'm like, shouldn't have did that.
Yeah, but I was proud of the kids. They did pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. But speaking of Christmas trees, I might have put mine up like last week, like put it away. It was I had mine out till the end of March, guys. I'm not even gonna lie. I like looking at it, and actually in the corner over there is my ceramic one from my mom, and it's still there.
Yeah, we've moved on to like 3 other holidays since then over here.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
My wife loves decorating, so we get it down and get the next thing up. We do every little holiday too. We do a little something for everything. My classroom too. She comes in.
That's special.
It's my classroom. Yeah, like I said, she's awesome. It's not me. She's awesome. She's put all that on. So
Yeah,
the
I wish
teacher
I
next door.
loved. Uh-huh.
Oh, I got internet issues again. You guys hear me? I'm losing
Yes.
connection.
In and
You were,
out, yeah.
you were,
Yeah.
yeah, you were in and out.
Sorry.
It's okay.
There was like power outages all over town this weekend. Like normally I have fantastic internet, but there were power outages and we've had issues with our internet. We didn't lose power, but we have serious issues with our internet that we never have. Been going on
Yeah,
since the
it
weekend, so I
happens.
apologize for that. But
You gotta love technology.
anyways, don't know how long I was blocked out there, but yeah, no kidding.
You were saying that your wife loves to decorate, and I was saying I think that's really admirable because I am not a decorator. I suck at it. And I applaud people that have that ability. I can't decorate anything unless somebody says, here's a tree, here's some ornaments, stick them on there. Like, I'm not good at that stuff, but everybody's good at different things. So I think, but your wife and her, decorating for every season, those are memories that your kids are going to have for the rest of their lives, just like I do about my mom. And I think that's really special.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all blessed because I just get to enjoy it. So
Yeah,
like she's on top
exactly.
of it all and I just get to enjoy it. So
Exactly. Well, I have one more topic for the evening, guys. And this one is another lighthearted one since today is April the 1st, also known by many as April Fool's Day. I'm curious if anybody pulled any silly pranks today, if you saw any silly pranks, or the best one you've ever seen done, or the worst. Let's start with you, Jeff.
I did. I actually saw. I don't know if y'all heard of the Tamala Hall show
Oh
this
yeah.
morning. She did. Her everything she does is all positive. So she had two twins that came on, and one of the twin sisters supposedly slept with her husband. She walked in. She had slept with her husband. So she came out there, and one of the twins was talking, and then she said, "Well, your sister's here too as well, so we're gonna bring her out." And they were fussing, almost like Mort Povich, when they be fussing, want to be fighting,
Yeah.
and Jerry Springer, and everybody's like, "Okay, what is going on in the audience?" So the sister sat down, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm pregnant, and I'm been single. I don't know if I'm pregnant by your husband." So Tamara did like a pregnancy test to see who is the father. So you know how they did it on the big screen, and then when they dropped it, opened up the end of the envelope, it says April Fools. That was the joke. Everybody was like, "Really?" So that was a big thing because that's normally what normally does not happen on her show. And everybody was looking all confused. They was like, "She don't have all this crazy stuff. Why do people up here want to fight?" And then that was the big thing, was like, who's the baby? Who's the father of the baby? And the big thing was April Fools, and they went crazy. People going crazy. So I saw that early this morning. My mom looks at that stuff. I don't look at that stuff. I so happen to be here in the room. So
Yeah.
that was the April Fool's joke I saw today. That was the only April Fool's. Nobody else did any April Fool's today.
Yeah. That's funny. When I was a kid, I would sneak and watch shows like Jerry Springer and Maury because my parents like forbid me to watch them. They're bad. You can't watch those. So what did I do? I did the opposite. So me and my brother would sneak and watch them. And, of course it's, a lot of those are probably staged, but it was
They were
funny.
fun.
Yeah. Especially
It's
to a
Good
kid
Friday.
when you think it's real. I thought it was all real back then. Diana, how about you? Have you pranked anybody today? Did you see any jokes or?
I saw a bunch on Instagram. I don't know. Maybe I'll be the April Fool's Scrooge, but like I don't have time for that. Like
Yeah,
if
I get
I'm
it.
busy and I'm like trying to get through my workday and you're pranking me, like I want to shoot lasers out of my eyeballs. Like I got stuff to do. Like the ones I saw on Instagram, I saw like someone like on a reality TV account, someone posted that this one girl was coming back to the show, and like, no, she's not. There is another one. There's this girl like an activewear designer, and like so many people comment on her designs like, no, you need this, you need this. So she made like a fake hiking suit where it has a mosquito net and turns into a tent and has like a zipper that like you can
What in
unzip
the world?
your crotch and like go to the bathroom and whatever.
What in
And
the
that
world?
was a joke. Like, this horror convention I follow rather, posted something that was like, we're doing a cruise. And I was like, now that's just mean because I would go on one of those. So yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of the April Fool Scrooge. I don't got time for that.
Yeah.
Look, to each their own. That's how I live my life. It's like live and let live. And today I was the same way because today was an absolute Monday at my job. And then I come home, I feed my farm animals and try to work out, cook dinner, get the husband fed, get ready for the show. I was busy and today was a Monday and I was like, I'm not feeling this today, guys. So I pretty much just stayed barricaded in my office and stayed away from everybody. That's how I felt today. Not my usual, but I get it. Some days you're just feeling it. How about you, Corey?
Yeah, I
We
did
got it.
did a little bit of a prank, a simple
I
one
do
this
need
morning.
that.
Yeah, the teacher that's right next door to me, the two of us swapped classes today in the beginning of the day and just told them that our schedules got changed, and so both of us started just loading each other's classes with all kinds of fake work and freaking them out, and until we made them look at the calendar and be like, what's today? And they're like, oh my God, it's April 1st. We're like, yeah. So that's what we did today. As far as in the past, I've been a part of and party to, or at least witness to, some pretty epic pranks before. Me and my buddies used to love that stuff, and we would try to do it as often as we could on April Fools. I had an April Fools where I made my wife cry a lot before she was
Aw.
my wife.
What in
We
the
blew it.
world?
We convinced her. We were convinced her we had gotten into this fight, and we just played it. She was at work, and we were all young, and we just played it off way too well. And she was completely convinced that we hated each other and were at each other's throats. And we had to be like, oh no, we had to buy her flowers. Like
Yeah, and she
that
married
one,
you.
that one, not so much.
You,
Yeah, she's still married us.
oh, you better kiss the ground she walks on every single
Oh, I
day.
do.
I would have walked
Believe me, I
away.
worship
I
the
would have been
ground
like,
she
"Yawn."
walks on. So we didn't think we were selling it that well, but and we were used to it because we'd been doing it to each other and to my buddy's dad for so many years, right? It was like little things too. Like I would get his dad's address and put my buddy's name, and we'd get like a Playgirl subscription sent to his dad's house in my buddy's name, right? Because his dad would try to get us topped on some really big things. So we got pretty epic with some of ours, and and it was difficult trying to convince, talk to his dad after that one and tell him no. And my buddy, the same buddy had convinced his dad like the year before that he had got his girlfriend pregnant, and he'd only dated her for like a week. And his dad was very much within a week was like, I really don't like that girl. So he came on April Fools and convinced him that he'd already got her pregnant. And, so he threw stuff back at us too. Like we were in the middle of writing a Simpsons episode together, and we turned it in, and we're really stoked about it getting sold. And he knew John Landau at the time, was telling us, oh yeah, I talked to him and he said he found this great script from these two kids, for the Simpsons. We're like, oh my God, what? And it took a minute before we're like, oh man, it's April. We're like supposed to do it in reverse, right? Bad news turns out to be good, not good news that turns out to be bad. We're like, that sucks, man. So we got him next year because he was a police officer. And so the next year, we had just graduated high school. Before the first day of school, we went and put up like police barricades that we found on the side of the road, and we set them up and put chalk outlinings and blocked one of the pathways into the school. So his dad comes back and he's like, oh man, we got this call. I don't know how he found out we did that, but he was like, oh, we got this call, and some kids pulled a prank and it caused an accident and somebody died. And we were like, what? So yeah, we've been going back and forth. Well, we went back and forth for years on stuff like that, but nothing like that anymore. No, just simple stuff. Tricking the students, stuff like that now.
Like,
yeah,
I get Diana. Like, I felt the same way today. I was like, I ain't feeling it. But I do love pranks. Like, I carry a box of googly on, and I'll take my nieces and nephews out, and we will googly eye the crap out of stuff out in public. And probably shouldn't be saying this, but yeah, we do. I mean, it's fun, and I do it to
Cute.
friends. And then I go to my friend's house. One friend in particular, we'll go over there, and I'll use the bathroom, and I'll hide them throughout her bathroom. And then, like, days later, she'll
What the world?
Google, like, well, maybe. But it's just fun. It's something lighthearted and fun. But yeah, I've enjoyed pranks. And then when I was a kid, my little cousin and I, well, he's not little anymore, but he was back then, we would actually dress up as ghosts and try to, like, walk around my neighborhood and scare people. And this one guy, I remember he pulled up. It was at night. It was dark. And this guy drove slow, and he stared at us. And then he came driving right back by, and he was staring at us again. And I was like, oh, we tricked him. But, stuff like that's always been fun to me. But, again, today I wasn't feeling it. It was a Monday. But anyway, yeah, that's a good lighthearted topic to end on this evening. And with that being said, I have enjoyed everyone this evening. Thank you guys for tuning in to the FNL Network Talk Show, and I hope you guys have a great week. We will see you next week.